Style rule number one is something you might remember from the very first video. Make your subjects clear. I don't necessarily mean the grammatical subject. I just mean it should be obvious who or what you're talking about. To show you what I mean, let's look at a sentence without a clear subject. This is from a supply chain management blog, and I think it's pretty representative of the kind of corporate email, businessy sort of writing. Omnichannel retail is a reflection of the changes, along with the speed and this discontinuous nature of the changes that consumers are both experiencing in their personal life and then driving into their shopping practices. Say what now? The first 5 times I read that sentence, I wasn't sure what it was about. 5 times. And I even know what omnichannel retail means. Omnichannel retail just means that people can go to the store to buy something, or they can go to your website, or they can go to another site like Amazon.com or whatever. I still didn't know what he was trying to say. At first, I thought the sentence was about omnichannel retail, right? Because it's at the front. Then I thought, that must be wrong because retail doesn't have a personal life. Maybe it's about changes or something consumers are doing. Tough to say, right? Okay, so I worked at it a little bit. I figured it out. Let me show you the edited version of this sentence, what the author was trying to say. Omnichannel retail reflects how the fast, fitful changes in consumers' personal lives drive their shopping habits. That's easy enough. He's saying we have omnichannel retail because people have crazy lives and want to shop in different ways. Got it. So why couldn't I see that the first time I read it? For one, and here's the big rule, the subject wasn't clear. This happened because the sentence is really wordy and there are several redundancies. I talked about those things in the brevity videos, but to just give one example here, is a reflection of should just be reflects. Second, it's a really long sentence, and there are lots of details to keep track of. We start off with omnichannel retail. That's our subject. Then the verb is a reflection of, or reflects. Omnichannel retail reflects something. The thing it reflects is called the object. Objects are basically the thing after the verb. In this case, we have a ridiculously long object. Everything from the changes to their shopping practices is one long object. Look how complicated it is. We technically have 2 objects, right? The first is changes, and the second is the speed and this discontinuous nature of the changes. That second object is actually just telling us something about the first object. That's already pretty complicated if you ask me, but that's not enough. The author also wants to tell us some more stuff about the changes. He says that consumers first experience them and second drive them. So we have 2 more verbs, and the objects of those next 2 verbs are the same objects as the objects of the main verb. It's just insane, right? We have 3 verbs with the same 2 objects. One of those objects explains the first object in 2 parts. 1 verb comes before those objects, and 2 verbs come after those same objects. And we're not done. The author also wants to tell us that the experiencing happens in the consumer's personal lives and the driving goes into their shopping practices. I mean, how can we not be confused? To review, we have 3 things that are making it hard to see what this sentence is about. 1, brevity problems. 2, there's lots of stuff to remember. And 3, it's just not straightforward. To fix this sentence, the first thing is to work on the brevity. Getting rid of the wordiness and redundancies will make it like a wind coming in with a fog and blowing it away. You'll be able to suddenly see the shapes. The second thing is to not have so many actors, and verbs, and objects, and details on top of details. You don't need to have, just one of each thing. You can have 2 subjects or 2 verbs or whatever, but it's awfully hard to write a clear sentence with so many. It's just hard for readers to remember everything. Most people can keep track of about 7 things at one time. The original sentence has 10 things by my count. The edited version, 6. Last, the sentence wasn't straightforward. The usual way to do things in English is subject, verb, object. I kick the ball. Mary loves puppies. That's not the only way to do things, but pick a way that flows logically. So, for example, maybe don't have 3 verbs with 2 objects in between them. To review, style rule number one, make your subjects clear. You just want to make it easy for your reader to know what you're talking about.